Hello class and welcome to lesson 4.1 of the JavaScript fundamentals. In our previous lesson 4.0 we looked at the introduction to JavaScript programming language. In this particular lesson we want to look on how we can create our very first JavaScript program. And without a further ado, let's get started. There are two ways of creating or adding JavaScript code. One is by writing the JavaScript code directly into the HTML page using the script tag. The second way is by writing the JavaScript code in a separate file and then linking it to the HTML file using the script tag again. In this very lesson, we want to look at the first method of adding the JavaScript code within the HTML. And without further ado, let us get started. So I'm going to turn over to my Visual Studio Code and I'm going to create the second HTML file. You can see that these are our previous files that we've created using HTML and CSS lessons. So I'm going to create a new file here and I'm going to call that courses page.html since it is going to be an HTML file. I press enter and within this file now I'm going to add some basic HTML code. So I'm going to add the doc type and then we have the HTML root tag. Let me undo that and do again. HTML root tag, and then of course I'm going to add the head section, and within the head section I'm going to add a symbol title which says courses page, and then now below the head I'm going to have a symbol body which has one header, and within this header I'm going to say our courses, and below the head I'm now going to add just one paragraph for now. I believe you already have fundamentals of HTML. Our focus here is not HTML but rather JavaScript. So I'm going to add a simple paragraph saying browse our courses and enroll. I'm going to save these changes. Now we have the HTML code right here. But our objective is to add the JavaScript code into this HTML page using the script tag. So how do we do that? So the best position to place this script tag is within the head tag. So below the title, I'm going to add a script tag, and note the script tag has both the opening tag and the closing tag. Now within the script tag, you can now go ahead and write any JavaScript code that you want to write. For now, because we are just starting out on JavaScript, I want to define a simple one-line code of JavaScript that prints the text on the browser console. So I'm going to write this JavaScript code, console.log, and I'm going to say, hello, this is our first JavaScript program. So don't worry if you don't understand what this console.log means. We will look into more details in the upcoming lessons, but just know for now this particular line of code, it will help you to print this particular text on the screen or on the browser console. So now I want to go ahead and save these changes, and now I want to open this particular file in the browser. So to do that I want to right click and select open with live server, and now when I open it in the browser you're going to see that we have one header section and we have just one paragraph. But for you to be able to see this text in the console, you need to be able to access the browser console. And to access the browser console, you need to right click on that particular browser. For me, I'm using Chrome. Click on inspect, and you're going to see the console right here. And when you look at that, you can see we have the text printed right here. So class, that's all about how to add a simple JavaScript code within the HTML using the script tag. In the upcoming lesson, we shall be able to add more complex code within this script tag. For now, we're just demonstrating how we can write a simple JavaScript code. With that content said, I now want to pause this lesson in this point, and then we can meet in the next lesson where we look at lesson 4.2. Otherwise, thank you for joining and see you in our next class.